All right, guys, welcome back to Cold Pizza Watch Reviews. Today, we're going to be doing the state of the collection. You want to check it out? Hold tight. All right, guys, welcome back. Today, I'm covering the entire collection. I'm going to go through these really quickly. I've done reviews on all these watches. They are on my channel. So let's get started. First is my Certina DS Podium. This is a 38mm ETA 28242 movement. I like this watch so much, I got two. Now, one's supposed to be a black dial and one is a gray dial, but they're almost identical in my opinion. This is supposed to be the black dial. You can see it. But these are two of my most favorite watches, both ETA 28242 movements, Certina. I did reviews on them years ago, probably 2 or 3 years ago, but they're on my channel. Awesome watches, love them. They have a field look to them. See-through case back. These aren't the original straps that came on them. I love them. If you can get a chance to get one, I think now they come with the Powermatic. Just great watches. You can see, very versatile. That's the Certina DS Podium. Briefly, Certina is owned by the Swatch Group. Pretty much a higher end Tissot. Love these, love them. Highly recommend them, wear great. I've got small wrists. Awesome. Sit those to the side. Next up is Glycine Airman. This is the purest, 36mm. This was kind of a grail watch for me. I've wanted it for years. And you can go back and look at my review of it. This is about, I don't know, 6-7 months old. It's Solita, I think it's SW300. It's the Glycine Airman, purest, 36mm. You usually can get these at Ashford. That's where I got this one. They seem to have the best deal on them. Love it, love it. Great watch. That's a Glycine. Let's go to another Glycine. This is the Combat 6. This is the first Glycine I ever owned. I think it came from Ashford, and it has the SW200-1, I believe, that's in it. I love it. It's got a vintage look to it. Also has a little bit of that field watch design. I don't know if they're still making this one. You can find it on Chrono24 or eBay. But again, when I go to pick just a daily wear, I'll always seem to gravitate towards the Certina or this Glycine, like for just a watch to throw on and run out and do some shopping. Just really good all day, everyday type watches. Glycine. Combat 6. Sit him to the side. All right, next up we have the Hamilton Air Race. And I think you can still pick these up. You can look online, Chrono24 should have them, or eBay, but this is a 38mm. This is a basically a Powermatic movement that's in here. And the Air Race was part of a line of stuff that they did in collaboration with Red Bull. The Red Bull competition you see back there. And what was cool about this watch is I think I picked it up for around $220. I believe it was on Ashford. And this is not the original band that came on it. This is a Barton. It's like a silicone band, but it matches it so well. Hamilton Air Race. Again, I just think it's just a cool watch. Don't know what they're going for today, but I don't wear it too much, but awesome. Hamilton Air Race. Another Hamilton. This is the Khaki Pilot Pioneer. Almost like a grail watch like the Glycine was for me. Just a almost an exact replica of the original that Hamilton made. I did a review on it, and I get into the history of this watch. I'm not going to bother you, but this is a hand wind only movement. It's not automatic. And if you've got larger wrists, it may not work for you. This isn't the original band that came on it. I added this. This is the Khaki Pilot Pioneer. I like that it's simply hand wound only. You don't find many anymore that are just hand wind. You're always going to get an automatic, but real cool watch, very simple and retro. I think the original came out in 71, between 71 and 73, but I have to go back to my review and recall all the information on it. But that's the Khaki Pilot Pioneer. Okay, sit this guy down. Orient Star Classic. Just a beautiful watch. I love these blue dials. I mean, the blue hands and the kind of cream silver dial. It's got a power reserve on it. Now, I did a review on this watch, and if you watch it, I had an issue with this watch being really fast. I mean, it was like 24 seconds a day. So I paid a watchmaker to regulate it, and it's doing good. Haven't had any issues since. It's got a nice see-through case back. A little more of a dress watch, but I think they go for, wipe this glass off, about between $320 and $340, you'll find them. And there's a couple different variations you can get. The bracelet was really well made, that I felt came with this as a standard. I've not changed it out. Milled clasp. But the only negative thing I can say about this Orient was it was running fast. That's the Orient Star Classic. I mean, it's got like a 60s vibe. That's why I liked it. Again, I've done reviews on all these watches. You go through my channel and see them. I'll put links in the description. All right, get the Orient out of the way. Now we're going to go to my Citizens. This is the most recent one I've gotten, the Citizen Promaster Diver Automatic with the green bezel. These are going up in price. I mean, they're over $200 now, and I paid, I think, $192. I've put it on a Miltat Jubilee. So obviously that's not what it came on. The bracelet it comes on is not that great. Again, watch the review. I'll get into the bracelet, but awesome watch. I wear these a lot. My Citizen divers get a lot of my daily, like, hard work wear. And you'll see we've got quite a few of them. That's the green dial, or green bezel. Now, one that I recommend you pick up if you can get it for a good deal is the full lume. And these are all from the same family as Citizen divers. They're the NY00 line, and you'll have to watch the reviews to get into all the specifics. But this is the full lume. And again, I think this is going to grow to be a collector's item, just like the SKX was. I don't see them coming down in price. They keep going up, up, up. So I bought this from a website called Gioia Pura. It's an Italian website, and they're going up on their price. I don't even know if they're competitive anymore. But full lume, NY00 line. This is the blue dial, NY00 line, Citizen Promaster Diver. I put it on this this Barton canvas strap. I've been liking that for a while. I wanted something different other than always having them on a Jubilee. Great watches. They are more accurate than my SKX was. Very durable. I think Citizen came out with these in 1996, the first iteration. Promaster divers, automatic, classic watches. If you don't get the full lume, my second favorite was the Pepsi. Just looks so good. Again, we're talking Citizen Promaster diver, NY00 line. But that was just a killer looking watch when I first got it. I think those are the first two that I would get if you can find them for a decent price. The Pepsi and the full lume. Again, this is a Miltat clasp, bracelet. And I have an Uncle Seiko clasp on one of these. All right, well, the Citizen. Let's go back to Switzerland with the Mido. This was the first Mido that I have owned. This is a Multifort, and I think it was 320. This essentially has a Powermatic, again, movement inside. Mido is owned by the Swatch Group. And I've done a review on this watch, trying to show that back. That case back there. I love this watch. It's so hefty. And I think this one was a little bit over 38 millimeters, but it wears big. There's several in the Multifort line. I recommend checking out Mido. They have some pretty cool options. They've got a nice diver that's a classic diver. It's well made. This keeps really good time. I was really impressed. It's a Mido Multifort. Again, Swatch Group company. Sit the Mido out of this way. And we'll go to Bulova. This is the Ivory dial hack. It's a great watch. Wears a little long, or a little wide. I guess the lug to lug dimension, and I can't remember exactly what that was, but a little bit more wrist real estate that it takes up. But awesome classic design. If you don't have the money to shell out on like a Glycine Airman, this Bulova Ivory dial hack gives out that same classic vibe, I think. I think they have that kind of similar vintage feel. Just give you some ideas. I felt like they were similar. So this is the Bulova hack Ivory dial. I can't remember the price on it. It wasn't much at all. Might have been under $2 or like around $212. Really competitively priced. Keeps really good time. Hand wind. It's got a Miyota movement in it, which is what's in all these Citizens. Let's see, find a spot to put the Bulova. Then on to another Bulova. This one I like better than the Ivory dial. This is it's the A1. And I like it because it wears a little bit smaller on my wrist. You know, I've got just over like 6 1/4 inch wrist. So again, same movement. This is the A1. It's got that vintage feel to it. Blue dial. If you're looking for a really stark blue dial, this watch has it. But the cool thing is let me wipe this back off, is that just like the original, or A11, I'm sorry, I said A1. It's the A11. The back of this watch is just awesome. And it comes, this isn't the strap it came on, it comes on like a NATO that covers that up. I was like, no, I want to see that. Really cool, look at that. And it's just like the original. Watch my review, you'll see that I talk about the specs of the original and what was supposed to be on the back of it. That's the Bulova A11. Sorry, it's not the A1. probably the only, I guess, Chinese-made watch that I've ever owned. I mean, when I say Chinese, Chinese brand, I'm sure there's a lot of Chinese parts in a lot of these, is the 1963, the Seagull 1963. I suggest you do a lot of research on these because there's different iterations, different places to get them. I got this one from eBay. You should be paying around $175, under $200 when you're looking at these. This is a hand wind only mechanical chronograph. But what's cool about it is that see-through case back and being able to watch that movement. Again, I did a pretty basic review on it. This is based off of a Venus original movement that Seagull, the Tianjin factory, bought the rights to and bought the machinery to. I believe it was back in the late 50s or early 60s when they developed this chronograph. And it's a pilot chronograph, and it's pretty much based on the original design. So there's a lot of heritage to it. Pretty cool little watch. It's a cool watch that you can get into on a budget. That's why I like it. You wear that, a lot of people ask about it, and it's not a quartz wanting to look like a vintage watch. I mean, you're getting a real hand-wound chronograph movement for $175. Awesome. That's the 1963. Okay, we're going to go on to Bertucci. Probably the cheapest watch I have, but I wear this mowing the yard, doing drywall work in the shed, or just any sort of just labor. And I love the watch. It wears light. You don't know it's there. I did a review on it again. Bertucci. If you're first getting into watches, it's quartz. And I think it's the only quartz watch I have, other than a digital. It's a great watch. It's cool by the way that they have that, the crown at the 4 o'clock position. The lugs are not, the spring bars are not removable. They're permanent. I actually had to cut this down because it was way too long for my wrist. But I think this Bertucci was 50 or 60. I mean, you get a pretty cool looking watch that's well made. So again, if you're looking for something budget, the Bertucci, I did a review on it again as well. Now my Rolex is the last watch I'm going to talk about. This is my Oyster Perpetual. 36 millimeter. This is a 2021 model. I've done a lot of discussions and reviews on this watch. I wear it 3 to 4 times a week. I'll usually take my Rolex and one of these others with me when I'm traveling, and flip-flop if I have to do some work that I'm worried that I'm going to hit the Rolex, then I'll put on one of these other watches. I don't really know what to say. It's an Oyster Perpetual. If I have to get rid of any of all these watches, this is the one that I'm going to keep. It's one I'm going to keep for the rest of my life. And a lot of these other ones I will too, but Rolex Oyster Perpetual, just a wonderful watch. This is the milled clasp, not the stamped clasp. And if you're not familiar with Rolex, all their watches are Oyster Perpetual except the Cellini. But that's it. This is just Oyster Perpetual. It's not Datejust. It's not Submariner. It's just Oyster Perpetual. It's the most entry-level Rolex you can get. By saying that, this watch still is, you're going to be paying around $7,000, $8,000, $9,000. Keeps the best time of any of these watches. Maybe loses a 1/10 of a second a day on a bad day. and I've done extensive tracking on it, but this is my Oyster Perpetual. So that's the state of the collection, guys. There's some watches that I'm looking at now that I'm waiting for them to come down in price. There's a couple other Midos that I'm looking at. There's some more Certinas that I'm looking at, just to kind of give you guys what I'm tracking out there in the market. So I'm looking at some Mido, there's some Certina. There's not really a Hamilton that I'm wanting to pick up right now. I'm happy with the Bulovas that I've got. There's some Citizen divers that I'm looking at. The Citizen is doing a great job with these divers, with these Promasters. Go check them out. I mean, they're coming up some interesting color combinations. They've got a titanium like black PVD. They picked up where Seiko left off. So if you got any questions on any of these, put them in the comments below. I've done reviews on all of them. Go check that out. And as always, I appreciate you tuning in to Cold Pizza Watch Reviews.